Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashutara Shata Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashutara Shishimad Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Tadya Shubha Avirbhav Mahamahotsav ki jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupad Shata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dashagunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. नाम अचाय श्रीला ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय. सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाते गिरिराज महाराज की जय. श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जय. श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय. श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय. श्री भक्ति देवी की जय. श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय. श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय. श्री ब्रजेंद्र नंदन श्याम सुंदर श्री कृष्ण चंद्र की जय. श्री नंदोत्सव की जय. श्री नंद बाबा की जय. श्री यशोदा माया की जय. दाऊ भाया की जय. श्री विश्वभानु नंदिनी श्रीमती राधा ठाकुरानी की जय. श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीगण की जय. श्री गोकुल महावान की जय. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. श्रीला प्रभुपाद आविर्भाव महोत्सव की जय. Hari Bol, say Shri Mataji. Looks like it's just me and you so far today. So, all right. So, what should I read first? I found something to read from Śrīla Prabhupada, an amazing article that he wrote, very powerful article that really captures the essence of what was. It captures what was driving Śrīla Prabhupada to do this amazing service to his Gurudev that he did, bringing these teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami to the whole world. Anyways, it's such a beautiful article, so I wanted to read that, and then I'll read a little glorification of my Gurudev. Short one, I mean. All right, so let me share my screen. I guess everybody's busy with their festivals now. Janmashtami festivals in the West. And okay, so which one should we read first? Maybe let's start with Śrīla Prabhupada's glorification of Śrīla Prabhupada, and then afterwards we can read. Okay, so this is a class spoken by my Śrīla Gurudev, Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and Shri Keshavji Gaudiya Math in Mathura, September 1st, 2002. Today is very auspicious. Last night, Nanda Baba and Yashoda had a very beautiful son, and they were so happy. Vasudeva and Devaki also had a son in jail, and they also became happy, but not as happy as they could have been because there were guards. Who were the guards? demons on the caliber of Putana, Aghasura, Bakasura, Chanura, Mushtika, Shala, Koshala, and so many others. And even now, Janmabhoomi is like a jail. Due to the intensified situation due to terrorists all over the world, and especially in India and Pakistan, there are many guards there during Janmashtami. You cannot enter the temple without those guards checking whatever you have. They will even look in your bead bag to see if there's a bomb inside. I had been going for 60 years, but this year I did not go. So Vasudeva and Devaki were very happy, but they could not do anything for Krishna. They wanted to donate 10,000 cows and jewels and many other valuable paraphernalia, but they could not do so because they had nothing. They were in prison and did not have a farthing. On the other hand, Nanda Baba and Yashoda had everything. Nanda Baba donated hundreds of thousands of cows. He donated as many cows as he had, and only the calves remained with him. After some time, those became cows, and at the same time, 1 year later, when Nanda Baba again celebrated Krishna's birthday, he again donated hundreds of thousands. He donated what he had, keeping nothing in the house for himself. Yashoda also thought, all my ornaments and jewels and everything else that I own should be donated. In this way, Nanda Baba and Yashoda gave away everything they had, and God only knows from where so many jewels and so many wealth were coming. The supply was endless, unlimited, and that is why Nanda Baba's treasury was always full. This great miracle was possible because Krishna had come. Jayati te dekam janmana vraja shayata indira sashwaratrahi taita drishyatang dikshutavakas Tvaidrita savas Tvam vichinvate. The gopi said, O beloved, your birth in the land of Braj has made it exceedingly glorious, and thus Indira, the goddess of fortune, always resides here. It is only for your sake that we, your devoted servants, maintain our lives. We have been searching everywhere for you, so please show yourself to us. So please show yourself to us. That's from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:31-1. Indira, Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of all fortune, wealth, and opulence, was blooming in the kunjas and everywhere else in Vrindavan. She was also blooming in the house of Nanda Baba, and therefore unlimited wealth was present there. Everyone was receiving charity, and at last there was no one left to accept charity. All were fully satisfied. Even demigods came in the form of gopas and gopis, and they were also taking donations. They told Yashoda, O Mother Yashoda, O Nanda Baba, I have come to give you badai, good wishes and congratulations. You should give me something because I am singing and dancing. You should donate something to me for the benefit of your son. All gods had come, including Brahma and Shankar, and there was great happiness everywhere because the goddess of fortune and wealth was present. What was she doing? She was brooming and decorating the kunjas and all other places in Vraj. It was a great fortune that on this next day, when Nanda Baba was celebrating the birth of his son, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj appeared in this world. This was not an ordinary thing. Exalted devotees come on these special days. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, known in his youth as Abhay Charanara Prabhu, was not an ordinary person. Abhay Charan Prabhu say. Now others should give their glorification. And what's the end note for, say? Just, where is it? Okay, so this is the glorification of others, transcribed by Vichitra TV. Should we read these now? It's a bit long. How many? Oh wow, that's really long. Okay, let's just continue reading Śrīla Gurudeva's glorification because we want to get to Śrīla Prabhupada's article also. Okay. First of all, you should know that Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaja's glorification is understood by his pranam mantra, Gauravani Pracharine. Most of the ISKCON leaders never gave any importance to his acceptance of sannyas. They thought that this is an ordinary thing, or that it has no use, or that it is a formality. They thought only that because Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur had given him the order, he was able to preach in Western countries. But if he had not taken sannyas from our Gurudev, could he have preached over the world as he had done? He could not have done so. Though he was ordered by his spiritual master, had he not taken sannyas, he could not have performed his miracle. So there is great importance in sannyas, not only for preaching, but also for bhajan. The highest grade for bhajan is in sannyas. Gopi bhav comes by sannyas mantra, not by another. The sannyas mantra is not less than Gopal mantra. In fact, we give even more importance to our sannyas mantra than to our Gopal mantra. So it is not a formality only. The second thing is that once in this hall at the Keshavaji Gaudiya Math, many ISKCON leaders were present. They were glorifying him by so many means and ways. But I told the devotees, and this brought about a big revolution, that Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj had not come only to preach Vaidhi Bhakti and perform kirtan of Hare Krishna here and there. This was important, but it was not his primary reason for coming to this world. It was secondary. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached Sankirtan everywhere, but this was Gona, secondary. What was primary? Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva. That's Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 1.6 and 4.230. Anarpita Charim Chirat Karuṇaya-avatīrṇaḥ Kalau. That's fourth verse from the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. This was the mission of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Rupa Goswami. This was the mission of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Srila Rupa Goswami has fulfilled that mission, the heart's desire of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj did not come only to preach Hare Krishna here and there. His primary goal was to preach the mission of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Rupa Goswami fulfilled. He wanted to express all these things, but there is no time to do so fully. I also want to express this. As I have explained to you in so many places, his main mission was to preach Radha Dasya, as taught by Srila Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. He wanted to fully explain the Madanakya Bhav of Srimati Radhika. But Krishna called him and said, "You have preached the glories of the Hare Krishna mantra everywhere, and you have established that Krishna is not an ordinary cowherd boy. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead." He established this everywhere, and so many sinners accepted his words. In a very short time, he translated so many authentic books like Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Instruction, and many others. I think he published more than 100 books. He preached his mission everywhere in the world in just a couple of years. He made hippies happy. all were hippies, and now you are happy. He used to say that India is lame and Western countries, especially America, are blind. But they can perform so many important things if they help each other. The lame person will sit on the shoulder of the blind person, and the blind person will carry him. Otherwise, both will fall off the road and they will be finished. Srila Swami Maharaj used to say, "My head office is in Bombay, my place of sadhan bhajan is in Navadvip, Mayapur, and my eternal home is in Vrindavan." In his last days, his physical health was not good, and at last he returned to India, to Vrindavan. He wanted to go to Govardhan and Radhakund, but his disciples could not understand him. I know, however, that he is eternally there. Now we will offer Puspanjali, the offering of flowers representing the heart's disciples and the heart's aspirations, at his lotus feet. And after that, we will take Paran. We will break our fast. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Oh, Hari Bo. Rup Manjari Didi and Nitai and Prajumna Prabhu and Mantramurti Mataji, Madhavi Didi, Indira Mataji. Yeah, we just stick to my Gurudev. Okay, so now what am I reading? We're reading this very special, powerful article, kind of heavy article by Śrīla Prabhupada, but it's, you really see what was, I mean, just through Śrīla Prabhupada's words alone, this is like the best glorification of him. So many people glorify Śrīla Prabhupada, and that he was, all the amazing things that he was able to accomplish, how many temples he opened up, how many people he brought, how many helpless, fallen, lost souls he brought to Krishna. And, they glorify him in these very grand ways. But this is even, just through these words of Śrīla Prabhupada, it shows even a more deep understanding of his glories. What was driving this all? What's really the thing that, all the outcome of his service, that was a secondary thing. But what's the primary thing? What was driving it all? This is all, he expresses it in this article. And he wrote this article in 1951. This is part one of a series in Bhagavad-patrikā called Karuṇaya-avatīrṇaḥ Kalau. This was translated in Rays of the Harmonist, 2006 Kartika edition. The most compassionate avatar of Kali-yuga. Oops. Śrīla Rupa Goswami is the confidential servant of Śrī Gauḍīya-patrikā, the most munificent avatar who mercifully appeared in the age of Kali, Karuṇaya-avatīrṇaḥ Kalau. Who but such an intimate servant can understand which mood appears in the heart of Mahaprabhu at what moment, and how that mood augments the Hladini Shakti, the internal pleasure potency that resides there? Who but Śrīla Rupa Goswami? No one has the power to understand the deep and diverse pastimes of Sriman Mahaprabhu without bathing in the dust of the lotus feet of such an antaranga, such an intimate internal associate as Śrīla Rupa Goswami. Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu always prayerfully contemplated the lotus feet of those internal devotees, and in this way he proceeded in his service of glorifying Mahaprabhu without the slightest obstruction. He concludes every chapter of Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita with Śrī Rupa Raghunatha Pade Jar Ash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Śrī Rupa and Śrī Raghunath, always aspiring for their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate the Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita. We will understand the transcendental pastimes of Śrī Gaurasundar only when we receive the blessings of Śrīla Rupa and Raghunath. For this reason, Śrīla Rupa Goswami benedicted all jivas. Arpita chirim chirat Karuṇaya-avatīrṇaḥ Kalau samarpaitum unatto jvala rasang swabhakti shriyam Hari purta sundara duti kadamba sandipita Sada hridaya kandare spuruto vasachinandana. May the son of Srimati Shakti Devi, Śrī Gaur Hari, forever manifest spontaneously within the innermost core of your heart. Adorned with the radiant splendor of molten gold, he has descended, Avatīrṇaḥ, he has descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow upon the world that which has not been given for a long time, the beauty of his own brilliantly radiant Ujjvala Prem Ras Bhakti, service in the highest mellow of amorous love. Accomplish this task. Karuṇaya-avatīrṇaḥ Kalau. What kindness Sri Sachinandan Hari Gaur Sundar has shown the jivas overwhelmed by the age of Kali by mercifully descending at this time. The people of the world, however, are unable to comprehend his magnanimity, even today. Therefore, to assist us in understanding his purpose for descending, Sri Gaur Sundar himself made a prediction and liberally ordered the residents of India to accomplish this task. And there's a footnote here. What's the prediction? Prithivite ache jata nagaradi gram sarvatra prachara hoibe mor nam. My name will be preached throughout every town and village on earth. It's from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bharata bhumite hoilo manusha janma jar janma sarthak kori koro para upakar. Anyone who's taken a human birth in the land of India should make his life successful by striving for the highest benefit of all others. That's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 941. All of the acharyas in the line of Srila Rupa Goswami have endeavored tirelessly to inform everyone of this order of Mahaprabhu by writing unprecedented literatures. Commanded by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada proved most effective in his attempts to do this. If his qualified disciples had protected his line of thought and tried to inform the world about Sriman Mahaprabhu, maybe by now they would have successfully preached the message of Sri Gaur Sundar in all corners of the globe. What nectar there is in the message of Śrī Gauḍīya-patrikā. The educated sector of today's society is most curious to learn about this. In this regard, it is worth noting the words of our respected Dr. Sri Yuta Kalidas Nagar. Our commendable godbrother and barrister, Dr. Samvidananda Das, was present one day during a discussion at Dr. Nagar's house. Sri Kalidas Nagar practically ridiculed us by saying that a certain mission does not have anything worthy to say, yet its members are preaching their message all over the world. Wait, what is this? But we are still unable to propagate such a grand message of Sriman Mahaprabhu beyond the borders of Bengal. We should realize that it is due to our great disqualification that we have not preached this message out of Bengal. If we compete with the Jat Gosais, the caste Goswamis, taking pride in establishing a mere 3 or 4 mats and temples and collecting a few disciples and servants, the message of Mahaprabhu will not be broadcast. Unless we collectively endeavor to ensure that the most munificent incarnation, Sri Gaur Sundar, manifests in the heart of each and every jiva stricken by Kali, this task will remain unaccomplished. These were the final words of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. He told us to work cooperatively to preach the message of Rupa and Raghunath. Our misfortune is that we have strived to follow all of his instructions except this one. The first step in attaining transcendental knowledge. Just checking everything is still running. Okay, so 1 second. Oops, sorry. Okay, it looks like it. In a Sarartha Varshini commentary on Bhagavad Gita, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on the verse Vyavasayatmika Buddhir 241 as follows. Whoa. Shall I read it? I read it. Iha Bhakti Yoge Vyavasayatmika Buddhir Ekaiva. Mama Shrimar Guru Upadishtan Bhagavat Kirtan Smaran Charana Paracharanadi Kam Etad Eva Mama Sadhanam Eva Mama Sadhyam Etad Eva Mama Jivatu Sadhana Sadhya Dashayostyakum Ashakyam Etar Eva Me Kamyam Etar Eva Me Karyam Etar Anyat Name Karyam Abhilashaniyam Swapne Pityatra Sukam Astu Dukam Vastu Sangsaro Nashyatu Nashyatu Tatra Mama Kapi Nakshatriyeva Kshatriyayevam Nishchayatmika Buddhir Kaitava Bhaktav Eva Sambhavit Yar Uktam Tato Bhajitamam Bhaktashadhalur Dridda Nishchaya Iti. This means, this is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. This means, on the path of bhakti, our sole sadhan is to follow with resolute intelligence the instructions we have received from Śrī Gauḍīya-patrikā. With fixed resolve, we should endeavor to execute whatever order we have received from him regarding Bhagavat Kirtan. This is both our sadhan, our practice, and our sadhya, our goal. And our sole duty is to organize our entire life around trying to follow that instruction. We are never to neglect the order of Guru Pad Padma, either in the stage of sadhan or when we have attained our ultimate goal. Our sole desire in life is to serve Guru Pad Padma according to his desire. We should have no other aspiration, even in our dreams. If in following the order of Guru Pad Padma, we encounter happiness or distress, let it be. Our material life may be destroyed or it may not, but whatever the case, so be it. Either way, we will neither lose nor gain. Our one and only duty is to serve our spiritual master. To be fixed in this understanding is characteristic of resolute intelligence and firm faith. Service to Sri Guru and Bhagavan performed with this resolve constitutes bhakti. All else we do in the name of bhakti is simply sense gratification. When Aurangzeb went to instruct his son, Muhammad, about devotion to his forefathers, Muhammad plainly said, "Must I learn about devotion to my forefathers from you?" Aurangzeb had imprisoned his own father, Shah Jahan, and usurped his throne. So naturally, Muhammad was not ready to hear from him any instruction on ancestral respect. When Vallabh Bhatta declared his own commentary on the Bhagavat to be superior to that of Sridhar Swami, Sri Gaur-Sundar replied, "Prabhu hasi kohe Swami, na mane jai jan, beshar bhitare tare koriye kanan." Smiling, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "I consider that person a prostitute who does not accept the Swami to be in authority." At Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila 7:115. Bhagavad Gita instructs us that worshipping the Acharya, Acharyopasana, is the first principal step in attaining transcendental knowledge. Therefore, one who tries to attain the position of Guru by disregarding the Acharyas and Sri Guru's instructions will never be successful in that position. The flow of mercy. In Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, Sriman Nityananda Prabhu opened the dam that blocked the ocean of mercy and began to distribute prem to any and everyone. The society of goldsmiths in Saptagram were harassed by the artificial caste system of Balal Sen. They were of the lowest caste, yet Sriman Nityananda Prabhu went from door to door and delivered them all. Murka banikakul korilen udhar. He delivered the foolish society of goldsmiths. Each and every person has the right to perform bhakti. One's caste and dynasty are of no consideration. In this mood, Sriman Nityananda Prabhu bestowed prem upon all. Later on, the so-called caste Goswamis claimed that they were the sole representatives of Nityananda Prabhu's dynasty, thus again blocking the flow coming from the ocean of mercy. But then the second manifestation of Nityananda himself and the embodiment of Gauranga's teachings of Gaurvani, Om Vishnupad Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, broke open that dam and made the river of pure bhakti flow in the same way it did in Sriman Mahaprabhu's time. Wow, such a beautiful. But then the second manifestation of Nityananda himself, the embodiment of Gauranga's teachings, Om Vishnupad Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Prabhupada, broke open that dam and made the river of pure bhakti flow in the same way it did in Sriman Mahaprabhu's time. Śrīla Prabhupada ordered his qualified disciples to come together and preach the message of Sri Rupa and Raghunath as he had done. But now, for some reason, the current of bhakti is again, unfortunately, coming to a standstill. We should all be diligent to ensure that the river of Srila Bhaktivinod's conceptions never stops flowing. So this is, you see, this is what was driving Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's real glory, his main glory, is that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's instructions and his inner heart's desire, that was Srila Prabhupada's everything. And so as a natural byproduct of his complete 100% dedication toward fulfilling the orders of his guru, then everything happened. Everything's just a byproduct of that extreme guru nishta that he had and dedication that he had. So now, the dark age of Kali. Srimad Bhagavatam describes how the rishis headed by Shaunak assembled at Naimisharanya, and according to the line of thought, that is appropriate for Vaishnavas, determines the obligatory duties of the jivas stricken by the age of Kali. Obligatory. I don't know why. Seeking the terrible condition of the jivas in Kali-yuga, Shaunak and the other rishis said to Sutta Goswami, Prayanal Payusha Sabhya Kalavasmin Yuge Jana Mandha Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Yupadrutaha. O learned one, the lifespan of the general person in Kali-yuga is short. Furthermore, he is lazy, he is lacking resolve in spiritual life, he is less intelligent, troubled by various obstacles, and unfortunate, bereft of sadhu sangha. In addition, he is afflicted by the threefold miseries. That's the 10th verse from the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the age of Kali, all the jivas have short lives, are lazy, and possess an intelligence that is riddled with sinful desire. They are always agitated by obstacles and troubled by sickness and lamentation. The rishis were wondering how, in such a condition, the jivas could attain true welfare. The terrible condition of the human race in Kali-yuga has been described in the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Shukadeva Goswami Parikshit. As the days in Kali-yuga pass by, religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, forgiveness, compassion, lifespan, and memory will gradually diminish. We are gradually realizing this. In Kali-yuga, a person will adhere to a religion in name only. One who tells the truth will not be able to fill his belly. Cleanliness will not exist at all because public places, hotels, restaurants, and shops will be full of the most degenerate people with the vilest tendencies. The merit of forgiveness will be forgotten. One who is forgiving will be considered timid and cowardly. Not even members of the same family will be forgiving with each other. The quality of compassion will be found only in fairy tales. Longevity will not exist anywhere, especially in India, where people only live for 75 years. Memory will be limited to knowledge acquired through books. In Kali-yuga, the status of one's birth, conduct, and good qualities will be measured by one's affluence. A person with wealth will belong to the highest caste and be considered to bear all good qualities. No one will inquire as to the identity of one's mother and father, for at one's marriage, one's kul, one's family caste, gotra, family line, and those who gather as witness to the marriage, will not be considered important. All social activities such as giving and receiving, buying and selling, eating and feeding others, and communicating will consist solely of lying and cheating. This cause of love between male and female will be based on expertise in lovemaking, style of dress, their decorative ornaments, bodily strength, and external beauty. The term Grihastha ashram will be found only in tales because of the free, unrestricted meeting of men and women. A person will be regarded as a Brahman simply by wrapping a 2 paisa thread around his neck. It will not be necessary to scrutinize him to see if he has the qualities of a Brahman, or those of a Kshatriya or Vaishya. Sight of this thread will suffice. Wearing saffron cloth and carrying a stick will make one a sannyasi, and donning white cloth or pants will denote one as a grihastha. There will be no need for any actual qualification. Only those with money will receive justice. For example, you won't be able to enter the courts without first paying the fee of a money-stamped paper and a lawyer. What to speak of further court proceedings? Money-stamped paper. In India, legal documents are often signed on paper bearing a stamp of rupee notes valued at 5, 10, 50 or more rupees. Okay. One will be known as a scholar if, on the strength of his powerful voice, he can lecture for 3 to 4 hours. One who is poor will be considered a ruffian and a thief, and the most honored sadhu will be one who exhibits the most arrogance and self-importance. One who travels a long distance to take bath in the Ganga at Haridwar will be considered greatly pious, but such piety will not be attributed to one who takes bath in the Ganga flowing in any other city, or even through one's own locality. 800,000 people gathered at Allahabad to take bath during the Kumbh Mela. So these people at Allahabad, these people at Kumbh Mela, they had not read Srila Narottam Das's prayer, which says, Tirtha Jatra Parishram Kevala Manira Bhram. Going on pilgrimage is simply a useless labor. It is only another kind of satisfaction for the bewildered mind. One will look charming if he grows long hair. Nowadays, you can even find young boys with long hair. No matter how little they eat and no matter how much their faces shrivel up, they will still grow their long hair to try to look beautiful. The unfortunate and destitute people of Kali-yuga will use soaps and cosmetics in their attempts to look fair and handsome. A person who can eat to the full satisfaction of his belly will think that he has achieved the fourfold goals of life, namely dharma, religiosity, artha, wealth, calm, sense enjoyment, and moksha, liberation from material bondage. He will not consider it necessary to attain anything more. In the age of Kali, people will think that if they are able to feed their wives and children, they will have achieved the expertise of King Daksha attained by performing fire sacrifices. Putting a dog on the throne. There'll be no practical means by which one can make a sacrificial fire. Dharma, religious activities, and seva, service, will exist in name only. People will be bound to the practices of so-called religious tradition, motivated by their public image as a religious person and the reputation of their guru. Whether they are religious or not, the world will be filled with people of this mentality. The strongest among them will come forward posing as political leaders themselves. By cheating the unfortunate, less intelligent masses, they will accumulate votes and thus become rulers.
Sometimes a pot of milk hanging from the wall may fall accidentally, and the cat will think herself fortunate. But what benefit can these low-minded rulers bestow upon the people by such power? Hitopadesh states, Shva yadi kriyate raja tatim nashnatupahanam. Upanaham, say. If a dog-eater becomes the king, can he give up his nature? Can one ever give up his nature? What benefit is there in making a dog sit on the throne? He will not give up his nature of eating dry flesh. In the same way, it is sure and certain that those who present themselves as rulers, having painted themselves as leaders with the color of a popular vote, will ultimately act according to their acquired nature. Which scriptures related to maintaining their citizens have they read that hearts will break for the sufferings of the people? While giving grandiose lectures, they will pretend that their heart is breaking, but at the time of action, they will only loot and plunder. Andher nagari babuka raja, taka sira bhaji taka sira kaja. The king will be as blind and degraded as the citizens. In this way, a picture of the age of Kali has been painted. Seeing this, we can understand why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Sri Rai Ramananda, Varnashrama dharma eho bahya, age koho ar. Varnashram dharma is external. Please speak something beyond this. How can the people of Kali-yuga practice Varnashram dharma? For them, everything is in jeopardy. So we also see in this is translated from Śrī Gauḍīya-patrikā Year 7, Issue 1, March 1956. So we see, with this article, most of the article was just showing what the urgency that Śrīla Prabhupada is feeling to fulfill the order of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. And then at the last part that we just read, showing how his heart was breaking for all the suffering jivas in Kali-yuga. And so, but that was all a result of his extreme dedication to his Śrīla Gurudeva. So it's nearly 8:30. I'll just end with a short kirtan, and then I have to do kirtan downstairs in Gopinath Bhavan. We'll have a program, a festival for Śrīla Prabhupada, which is being organized by Srimati Vrindavan Vilasini Mataji. Oops. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hare, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hare. Jai Radha Vinod Bihari, Radha Vinod Bihari, Radhe Jaya Giri Raja, Jaya Govardhana, Giri Raja, Jaya Govardhana, Jaya Giri Raja, Jaya Govardhana, Giri Raja, Jaya Govardhana, Jaya Gurudeva, 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 Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Prabhupada, Jaya Swapashara Śrīla Prabhupada, Swapashara Śrīla Prabhupada, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Śrīla Gurudeva ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai Tadiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi Maha Mahotsav ki Jai Śrīla Prabhupada Vyas Puja ki Jai Titi Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki Jai Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जाय श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय Shri Krishna, Shri Yashodanandan, Nandanandan, Shri Krishna Chandra ki Jai, Shri Nandotsava ki Jai, Shri Nanda Baba ki Jai, Shri Yashoda Maya ki Jai, Shri Dao Bhaya ki Jai, Shri Vrishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radha Thakurani ki Jai, Sarva Vrajavasi Gana ki Jai, Shri Gokul Mahavan ki Jai, Shri Jai Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shinitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for reading with me. And I'll see you tomorrow we will continue with our daily Bhagavatam reading. We will begin the Venu Gita, chapter 21 of the 10th canto. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai. See you all tomorrow. Haribol.